What if I told you that on Christmas morning, while millions of families unwrapped presents and shared laughter, a 6-year-old beauty queen lay dead in her own basement? Her name was JonBenét Ramsey, and 28 years later, we still don't know who killed her. But tonight, I'm going to show you evidence the media buried. Evidence that changes everything. December 26th, 1996, 5:52 a.m. Patsy Ramsey races down the spiral staircase of her Boulder, Colorado mansion. At the bottom, she finds 3 pages of handwritten ransom note on the steps. Her hands shake as she reads. "Mr. Ramsey, listen carefully. We have your daughter." She screams for her husband John. Together they rush to JonBenét's bedroom. The bed is empty. Pink blankets thrown aside. Patsy dials 911. Her voice cracks through the recording. "We have a kidnapping. Hurry, please." The police arrive within minutes. Officer Rick French searches the house room by room, even tries the basement door. It's locked. He moves on. This decision will haunt him forever. Friends and family flood the Ramsey home, contaminating what should have been a sealed crime scene. Dozens of people walking through rooms, touching surfaces, destroying evidence. The ransom note demanded $118,000, the exact amount of John Ramsey's recent bonus. It warned the family not to call police or JonBenét would be beheaded. But no call ever came. No ransom instructions. Nothing. 7 hours pass. Detective Linda Arnn asks John and his friend Fleet White to search the house again. Look for anything unusual. John heads straight to the basement. This time, the door isn't locked. He opens it, reaches for the light switch, and there, on the white blanket, wrapped in her favorite nightgown, is JonBenét. John Ramsey screams. He picks up his daughter's body and carries her upstairs, contaminating critical evidence. JonBenét has duct tape over her mouth, a white cord around her neck, attached to a garrote made from one of Patsy's paintbrushes. Her hands are tied loosely above her head. Her skin is cold. She's been dead for hours. Detective Arndt looks into John Ramsey's eyes as he cradles his daughter's body. She later testifies that in that moment, she felt pure fear. She instinctively counts her bullets. She's outnumbered in that house, and she suddenly doesn't trust anyone. The autopsy reveals horror. JonBenét died from strangulation and a massive skull fracture. Someone hit her so hard, a piece of her skull the size of a golf ball had splintered into her brain. The medical examiner finds undigested pineapple in her stomach. But the Ramseys insist JonBenét was asleep when they got home from a Christmas party. They never fed her pineapple. So who did? There's more. Evidence of chronic sexual abuse. Old injuries that healed before that night. And on her body, DNA from an unknown male. Not her father. Not her brother. A stranger's DNA under her fingernails and in her underwear. The Boulder Police Department immediately suspects the parents. They see the ransom note, written on Patsy's notepad with Patsy's pen, and they see guilt. The note is bizarre. 2.5 pages long. It references movies like Ransom and Speed. It calls the kidnapper a foreign faction and signs off with Victory, SBTC. Nobody knows what that means. Not then. Not now. Handwriting experts compare the note to Patsy's writing. Results are inconclusive. Some say it's her. Others say it's not. But here's what's strange. The person who wrote that note tried multiple practice versions. Police find a false start on the same notepad. Mr. and Mrs. Ramsey. Then it stops. The writer started over. What kidnapper sits in your house practicing a ransom note? The media devours the Ramsey family. Cable news runs JonBenét's pageant footage on loop. A 6-year-old in full makeup, false teeth, platinum blonde hair, performing like an adult. America is disturbed. They see a mother living through her daughter. They see a father who's too quiet, too controlled. They see a 9-year-old brother, Burke, who seems emotionally detached during interviews. The police develop tunnel vision. They want it to be the Ramseys. They ignore other leads. They dismiss the DNA. They convince themselves this is a family cover-up. But they can't prove it. They can't explain the DNA. They can't explain the entry points. They can't explain the brutality. Let me tell you what the media didn't report. The Ramsey home had a basement window that was broken months earlier. Never fixed. That window led to a small room where JonBenét's body was found. Inside that room was a suitcase positioned under the window, like someone used it as a step stool. On that suitcase, Police find a footprint that matches neither parent. And outside the window, undisturbed snow. Or was it? Detective Lou Smith joins the investigation months later. He's a legendary cold case detective who came out of retirement specifically for this. Within weeks, Smith reaches a conclusion that shocks everyone. The Ramseys didn't do this. An intruder did. Smith finds evidence the police ignored. A baseball bat in the yard that doesn't belong to the family. Fibers on JonBenét's body that don't match anything in the house. A boot print in the basement that's never identified. And that window. Smith proves he can climb through it without disturbing the snow. He does it himself on camera. But here's where it gets darker. JonBenét performed at public pageants. Her face was in newspapers. Strangers knew her name, her address, her schedule. Someone could have watched her, obsessed over her, planned this for months. The ransom note's bizarre length suggests someone who felt comfortable in that house. Someone who had time. Some investigators believe the killer was hiding in the house while the Ramseys were at the Christmas party. That he waited in the basement for hours. That he knew the layout, knew where JonBenét slept, knew the family would come home late and exhausted. The pineapple evidence supports this. A bowl of pineapple with a spoon sits on the kitchen counter that morning. Patsy's fingerprints are on the bowl. Bert's are on the glass next to it. But both say they didn't prepare it. The theory? JonBenét came downstairs after her parents went to bed. Someone was waiting. Someone gave her pineapple. Someone she might have trusted. But here's where it gets darker. JonBenét performed at public Christmas pageants. Her face was in newspapers during the holiday season. She was Little Miss Christmas. Strangers knew her name, her address, her schedule. Someone could have watched her perform Jingle Bells in a red velvet dress. Obsessed over her. Planned this for weeks. Waited for Christmas night when the family would be exhausted and vulnerable. Some investigators believe the killer was hiding in the house while the Ramseys were at the Christmas party. That he waited in the basement among the stored decorations for hours. That he knew the layout, knew where JonBenét slept, knew the family would come home late, carrying sleeping children, distracted by presents and holiday chaos. The pineapple evidence supports this. A bowl of pineapple with a spoon sits on the kitchen counter that morning, next to Christmas cookies the children left for Santa. Patsy's fingerprints are on the bowl. Bert's are on the glass next to it. But both say they didn't prepare it. The theory? JonBenét came downstairs after her parents went to bed, maybe to peek at her presents one more time. Someone was waiting in the shadows of the Christmas tree lights. Someone gave her pineapple. Someone she might have trusted. Think about that. Right now, families are sleeping soundly on Christmas. Their children are safe in bed, dreaming of presents. But for the Ramseys, Christmas night became a nightmare. And they never knew until morning. Then there's Burke, the 9-year-old brother who becomes a suspect in some theories. Whispers spread that he hurt JonBenét during a fight over pineapple or presents on Christmas. That the parents staged the crime scene to protect him. But Burke was 9. Could a 9-year-old construct a garrote? Could he write a sophisticated ransom note? Could he inflict that violence? On Christmas, in 2008, new DNA technology exonerates the Ramsey family. The Boulder district attorney issues a formal apology. But the damage is done. The Ramseys will never have another normal Christmas. Every December 26th is the anniversary of when their daughter was murdered. Every Christmas tree reminds them. Every carol. Every wrapped present. But some detectives still don't believe it. They say the DNA is a red herring. That the real killer is someone in that house. Someone who murdered JonBenét on the most sacred night of the year. So who wrote the ransom note? If an intruder did this, why would he sit in the house on Christmas night writing practice notes? Why demand ransom but never collect it? Why leave JonBenét in the basement instead of taking her? Unless the note was never about ransom. Unless it was misdirection. Some experts believe the intruder planned to kidnap JonBenét, but something went wrong. Maybe she woke up. Maybe she screamed. Maybe he panicked. The Christmas lights from the neighbors' houses would have been off by 3 a.m. The perfect cover of darkness. There's another theory the police buried. In the weeks before Christmas, there were reports of suspicious men in the neighborhood. A strange man approached JonBenét at a Christmas event at the mall. Another was seen watching the house during a neighborhood Christmas party. Were these coincidences or surveillance? Here's what keeps me awake at night, especially during Christmas. JonBenét Ramsey was killed in her own home on Christmas, the most sacred night of the year, while her parents slept upstairs, while her brother slept down the hall, while the Christmas tree lights blinked in the darkness. Someone moved through that house like a shadow. And that someone is probably celebrating Christmas right now. Opening presents, hugging family, acting normal. Patsy Ramsey died in 2006 from ovarian cancer. She spent 10 Christmases defending herself against murder accusations. 10 Christmases without her daughter. John Ramsey remarried, and every Christmas he visits JonBenét's grave. Burke Ramsey doesn't celebrate Christmas the same way anymore. How could he? The Boulder Police Department failed JonBenét Ramsey. And because of their mistakes, someone got away with murdering a little girl on Christmas. But the case isn't closed. In 2023, the Boulder police chief announced they're using genetic genealogy to identify the unknown DNA. It's slow, but works. What if this Christmas, we're closer to an answer than ever before? JonBenét Patricia Ramsey was 6 years old. She loved Christmas. She loved singing Christmas carols. She loved performing in Christmas pageants. On December 25th, 1996, she went to bed excited about her new bike, her dolls, her gifts. She wore Christmas pajamas. She left cookies for Santa. She never woke up. Someone took Christmas from her. Someone turned peace on earth into violence. Someone killed a little girl while the world celebrated love and family. And that someone is still out there, maybe watching this video, maybe celebrating Christmas with their family right now, maybe looking at their own children or grandchildren opening presents, living free while JonBenét Ramsey is in a grave. This case isn't entertainment. It's not a Christmas mystery special. It's a little girl who died violently on the most magical night of the year. And until we know who killed her, every Christmas should feel incomplete. I'm asking you to do one thing. Subscribe. Not for me, not for the algorithm, but because JonBenét Ramsey should have celebrated 34 Christmases by now. She should have children of her own. She should be watching them open presents. Instead, she's been dead longer than she was alive. And the only way we keep her story alive, the only way we push for justice, is if people care enough to keep listening. If you walk away now, you're letting JonBenét's Christmas murder fade into history. But if you subscribe, you're saying her life still matters. That Christmas should mean something. That children deserve protection. Because somewhere, a killer is counting on you to forget. They're counting on Christmas cheer to distract you. They're counting on time to erase JonBenét. And I refuse to give them that satisfaction. Subscribe. Share this. Demand answers. Make noise. Because JonBenét Ramsey can't celebrate Christmas anymore. But we can fight for her. We can make sure she's never forgotten. We can make sure that this Christmas, her story reaches someone who knows something. Someone who can finally bring her justice. Don't scroll past this. Don't let another Christmas pass in silence. Subscribe now.